Hello, Scorpio friends. Okay, so we're going to do our deep dive now into the Scorpio report. If you haven't already listened to the intro, make sure to go back to do that because it lays a foundation for what we're going to discuss here, many of which those things I'm not going to repeat. This is for you if Scorpio is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Scorpio placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. If you're a very late degree Scorpio friend, so birthdays like November 15th through the rest of the sign, or Scorpio degrees 23 degrees through the rest of the sign, I suggest you stay on after this report to listen to the Sagittarius report, as you very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. If you don't know your moon sign and your rising sign and you want to know it, you can search online for how to run a free birth chart, put your birth info in, and you will need the correct time or close to a correct time in order to get your rising sign. But if you have that information, you can come back and also listen to your rising sign report and your moon report, as those will be additional layers to help you understand the breadth and the depth of the astrological experience for you personally. Okay, so we have a brand new year. We have a year that feels somewhat like a new year after doing a lot of retrograde stuff and deep dive clearing out in the latter part of the year. And Mercury, as of January 3rd, being full steam ahead. That's going to make it feel like a new year just on its own, coming out of that retrograde web. Clarity, ability to make plans, the confusion, the difficulty with scheduling, all of that will start to shift. Now, right at the beginning of the month, towards the end of December and the beginning of January, remember we have that big clash. I'm not going to talk about the same things that I talked about with this clash in the intro, but I want to talk about some things personal specifically to Scorpio, because the placement for this clash is really, really big for Scorpio. Okay. If you're looking at the chart in the YouTube view, I'll show you what this looks like. For those of you who are listening, I'll describe this. The wheel is a circle, and it can be like a clock. Okay. And in the 9 o'clock position, there's a line from the 9 o'clock position across to the 3 o'clock position. That's the ascendant descendant line. If you're looking at the chart visually, you'll see that those lines are darker than the other lines between the houses. Okay. Then if you look at the 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock line, up and down, you see there's another dark line on the 3rd to 4th house cusp, and then the 9th to 10th house cusp. Okay. Those lines in the chart are the big four. When things happen at those points in the chart, you will notice, and Scorpio has been going through this, okay, in the recent couple of years. Many Scorpio placements will have experienced birth, death, transformation, rebirth, literally and figuratively. Home has been affected from this Pluto transit, and now this is getting enlivened again by this Pluto-Mars opposition. So there's something in your life, there's someone in your life, there's a storyline in your life having to do with home versus work. Maybe the same thing, could be family business, could be your work-life balance or lack thereof. Something is brewing. There were notable things that have happened in the past. They've been building. You had another big point of conflict here, beginning of November, when this aspect happened before. It will happen now, and it will happen again at the end of April. So there's something going on. It's a clash with authority. It's power struggles. It's, tensions running high. It's trying to deal with things having to do with home and work, or your place in your inner world and your place in your outer world, etc. That's not the only thing going on this month, but it is such an important thing in general and specifically for Scorpios because of where it's placed. Now, in the whole house chart, this is on this position for all Scorpio placements. Okay, so nobody's getting out of the fact that this is a very big deal, especially for Scorpios. Now, if you're an early degree friend, so basically like October born friend, maybe early November, you will get a double time experience of this, because not only is it in your whole house chart in this position, it's also in your Placidus chart in this position. Okay, so, that's a big deal. Those of you who are November born Scorpios, you have one layer of the chart that's a little bit more distant from this whole thing going on, okay, because you haven't had Pluto come to this position yet. And this opposition is not happening on this line in your Placidus chart. So that can take a sting out of it a little bit for you. But you early friends, you're really getting a double whammy here. Good news about that is that the thing that has been brewing for you has been keeping you out of peace, has been binding you up, has been limiting you, has been making you mad as hell. And now you're going to get to clear some of that out. It's like a pressure, this aspect is like a pressure release valve. And it's having 3 big releases. So this is the second of the 3 big releases, and more steam is going to come out, which can relieve some of the pressure for you. All right, so just kind of be aware of that. I'm not going to talk that much more about it, but do be safe, do make good choices, and do remember that any warlike behavior you exert to anybody in any way will very likely boomerang back to you because of the Mars retrograde. So try to be productive with the anger and clear it out before you have discussions or take actions. Okay, so what else do we have to talk about? A lot more. Recent months, November through now the beginning of January, you've had a strong focus of Sagittarius placements, all highlighting your money sector. You've been very obsessed with, focused on money earned income in recent months. That is continuing into this month. We still have a little bit more of Mercury being there. And then as Mercury gets into Capricorn, joining the sun, joining Pallas Athena, there is this strong focus on employment, your place out in the world, your public life, your relationship as a father or with father figures or as a parent. And it really moves into this story of responsibility. Okay, so questions of responsibility are being brought up, not only from this clash of Pluto and Mars, but also from this movement into Capricorn. This is a time to get serious and disciplined. It's a time to get a plan, get a strategy for the year, the new year and beyond. And it also has to be communicated. So the fact that Capricorn energy lights up the 3rd house of Gemini, communication, for Scorpio, means that when these planets move through Capricorn, it's not only a time for you to strategize, it's a time for you to communicate about that strategy. Meaning it's not just personal. It's not just you sit down and you get your own strategy together, which is fine. You can do that. But there's some element of having to communicate this with other people that is super critical at this time. And we have this added to by the story of Gemini in the 8th house. Since earlier, well, let's see, May 2024, it will go to June 2025, you've had to have a much higher level of communication with certain people in your life, possibly Gemini related, cousins, aunts, uncles, sisters, brothers, other relatives. And this is continuing. Okay, so communicating, see, Jupiter is in the sign of Gemini. Gemini rules the 3rd house, which is where the Capricorn planets are. Okay, so there's this story of going back to communicate things, Jupiter being in retrograde, Mars being in retrograde, back to communicate things with these people in your life to get things super clear. All right, aunts, uncles, all of that. Everybody, there's something going on there. Now, throughout the whole month and getting stronger as the month goes on, we have Aquarius energy. Moon is there at the beginning. Then we have the new moon at 10 degrees of Aquarius on January 9th. It's also Chinese New Year, a very auspicious time for new beginnings. We've got Venus there in the beginning of the month, just for very briefly. The sun will get there, and Mercury will get there at the end of the month. Pluto, of course, is there, new, and Ceres is there. So Capricorn is asking you to look to tradition and to keep a skeleton of a structure as you expand into the new. And Aquarius is asking you to find out-of-the-box solutions, unconventional ways to deal with this home/work clash. You're very likely entering into or have been into or have a tendency to have unconventional home and family circumstances. And all of this is being accentuated now. It also happens that all of these Aquarius energies square Scorpio. So this is a pressure time, and you're feeling the pressure from this aspect that we talked about and from these aspects now. If you're a Scorpio that's been overburdened, you might look at this and say, oh crap, I really do not want to be pressured anymore. It's too much. And I feel you. I completely understand. I do feel like these pressures can turn out to be purposeful. And if we can reframe them that way, like, how can I have these pressures have purpose? You can even ask yourself that. You can ask the universe that. Please help me to have these pressures be purposeful, because pressure without purpose is just a waste. But pressure with purpose can create the life that you want and can help you to get through the limiting factors that are interfering with you having your best life. And that's why I use astrology, is to help you have your best life. So this is a time where you can be cracked out of things that were comfortable. If you've gotten emotionally comfortable, if you've gotten physically comfortable in certain circumstances, now is a time where you're getting to be cracked out of some of that comfort to open you up into expansion, into the unknown. So I know you're looking for some good news here, and I can give that to you too, which I'm really happy about. We've got a lot of conflict here. We've got a lot of chance for breaking free, but one of the shining stars that's happening in the long term and accentuated extra in the short term is this series of water planets that are trining your Scorpio placement. Okay, so in the long term, Saturn is here, so giving you from 2023 to 2026 this chance to really manifest your creative, romantic, and children based dreams. If you want to have a family, if you have a family, if you're trying to build, if you have creative projects that you want to come to life, if you have, if you're trying to develop a romantic situation that is fulfilling for you, Saturn in a long-term way is helping you to build that brick by brick. Neptune may seem like it's going against it in some ways, being dissolving, but it's spiritualizing it. It's spiritualizing your relationship to children. It's spiritualizing your relationship to romance. It's spiritualizing, your relationship to creativity. And now Venus jumps in there in Pisces, and Venus rules money and love. So you are stepping into a time where you may have a boost to romance, a boost to fun with children or your creative babies, a chance to earn money from your creative projects, monetize them. And this would normally be a pretty quick transit. But once Venus goes past Pisces and goes into Aries, it gets up to 10 degrees. Then it will go retrograde. See, so I was talking about before, at the end of this month, we start the pre-shadow retrograde for Venus. And it will be retrograde in Aries and Pisces. So the place where it's moving now, it will come back here. So if you are a Scorpio that really, really wants to manifest creative efforts, this can be one of your best friends. And it's going to come back. So it's happening, and it will come back, and then it will keep happening as it moves direct again. So that's a wonderful blessing. It's good news. It's a shining light. It might be the thing that gets you through the other challenges. If you have a hobby or have a creative effort or have a family or, have a romantic partner that, that you're happy about, then these areas can be your saving graces during the other conflicts, that can buoy you through. Okay, so I'm just going to say a word about, let's see, two more things. The full moon on January 13th at Cancer at 24 degrees, fellow water sign, is going to light up your place of adventure, of upliftment, of optimism, of teaching, of learning. And everyone can get the goodies from that. And all Scorpios get extra goodies because this is a water trine. Those of you in the late degree spectrum, so birthdays like November 12th through the rest of the sign, and the closer to around November 17th, 18th, 19th, the more you may get a kiss from this or have a noticeable kiss from this. But if you're not in that spectrum, you're not being left out because it's fully utilizable for everybody. So this can, give you a creative solution. This can give you hope. And sometimes hope is the best medicine, right? If you can tap into that. And it can also, see, it's going to tie in here to trine Neptune. That full moon is trining Neptune. So it's going to kick back over some beautiful vibes to your romantic sector, to your children's sector, to your creative babies, to your hobbies, to your bucket list, as I like to call it. So there may be something magical that happens at that time that can enliven this space in a grand trine formation, which is the sacred geometrical epitome of awesomeness. Okay, so YouTube friends, if you are, subscribe, click the bell, and enable notifications. All of those steps, for whatever reason, are necessary to make sure you don't miss anything from me. And if you're a late degree Scorpio friend, so birthdays like November 15th through the rest of the sign, 23 degrees to the rest of the sign, stay on and listen to the next report for Sagittarius. For the rest of you, watch for your moon sign, your sun sign, your rising sign if you know it. If you love my content and you don't want to miss anything that I post and you want all of my content early, then go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address in there, click receive, you'll get a welcome letter, and in the welcome letter, you'll get VIP access to my eclipse resource page, my retrograde resource page, my zodiac health tips, my 28-day very powerful virtual coaching program, and you'll get weekly astrology updates with all of the information that can help you make the most of the starry transits, including 1 month early, my monthly written star report that has the sweet and salty dates. These are the dates to be most awareful and careful of, and the dates to celebrate the most and plan your important things. And you get all of that as part of my VIP. Plus, podcast menus, and I know for sure YouTube don't always notify you whenever I post new content, even if you're subscribed, even if you click the bell, even if you enable notifications. So if you want to be sure that you don't miss anything from me, then the best way to do that is to be part of this VIP group, because I will let you know as soon as I have anything posted, and you will get early access to all of it. I also sometimes have private promos for my VIP group that the public never sees. And if you want to study astrology with me, go to www.beastropro.com, beastropro.com, to see my astrology certification course. If you want to learn astrology to help yourself and your friends, or you want to earn money, that is my specialty. I can tell you how to make your astrology practice work and earn money from your love of the stars. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.